Hello, everybody. Yeah, just getting back into groove, getting started. Man, I don't even remember what it is that you need to do to start a stream anymore. But getting there. Oh yeah, and I also need to grab my coffee and tea. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, let me see. Let's go to this view, I guess. I used to have music, didn't I? Oh man, people are calling me. Bad moment. Oof. Okay. Let's go with, I don't know, recording piano. Sorry, live streaming piano. Ooh. We don't hear it. Why do we not? Why not? That is correct. Oh, because this was muted. Okay. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to be. I don't remember anything. I'm sorry. Also, my white balance is out of whack. Oh my god. I use the camera as software you can love, right? And I had a different white balance setting there, and I don't even know if I can fix it easily. Let's see. Actually, no. Let's see. I think that the touch screen could have something for me. Yeah. I don't know. You know what? We'll keep it like this for now. Oh man. It's been so long. Before the stream starts, I want to let you know that Prime wants to interview Andrew Kelly since Prime has been digging deep these past few weeks, but since Andrew Kelly is not on Twitter, he couldn't reach him. If only the internet, if only there were other ways of contacting people that weren't Twitter, right? If only there was some system, you know, used by developers. Man, I'm even logged out on GitHub from here. But if only there was like something, you know, this system where like if you're a dev, you kind of like use it daily, and pretty much every single time you use it, it records your email address. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this. Man, I don't even remember where to click. Wait, is this it? No, I think it should show me. I should look at an actual commit, right? Okay, like my point is, you can find his email address. I can find it right now clicking on the Git UI, but you know how the email address is included with every Git commit, for example, just to name one. Andrew is actually on Mastodon if he really wants to, but I'll tell you, I think there's like a queue of people who want to interview Andrew one way or another, and I think he has a bit of a backlog, and he's just not prioritizing it. So how do you even? I don't even remember how to zoom. I forgot everything. I haven't like done this stuff for a while, and like I forgot everything. In any case, point being, I don't know. Andrew has a bit of a backlog. I don't know if he's interested, because he has been, well, not exactly turning down, but he has just not been processing other requests. Just that said, if Prime really wants, he can try harder than fucking Twitter, with all due respect. Yeah. In any case, I think that this was already brought forward. Like, I think that Andrew knows. Or a web page. Wait, he might have something like this, right? Don't. Oh my god! Don't tell me. He does have. Right, he does have that. Thank you. Good point. Good point. In any case, I don't know. I also feel like does Prime really need Andrew? Like, I don't know. From a hype perspective, I get it. You want to talk with the guy who made the thing, but like this, honestly, from a perspective of like pure content, I don't think that the type of communication that Prime does and what Andrew tends to do are a particularly good fit with one another. Like, if we want to be real, from the perspective of content creation, which is not a perspective that usually you tend to involve the audience in. These tends to be decisions that are made, I don't know, offline in a sense. But I don't know. That said, I hope the Prime has a good time with Zig. And that he gets to, I don't know, do some lower level programming that isn't just like a bad copy of what Rust does. And instead he gets to experience, you know, all the things that are different in Zig for a reason, not just to be different. I hope he gets a good chance of doing that. And that's it. That's it. These are all my opinions. Obviously, the day that Andrew decides to start prioritizing podcasts and stuff like this a little bit more, I'm sure that if he goes on the Primagen, he's going to be able to give a great guest appearance, and everybody's going to have fun. But I don't know. Like, I guess in a sense you could say that I'm also involved with all the communication stuff in Zig, and I don't know. From my perspective, it's I think that Andrew would probably be more effective on a different stage where he gets the opportunity to dive more into the details of stuff than what you can do on I don't know, a less deeply technical channel like the Primagens. Which, to be fair, I'm not saying this is a critique of the Primagen. Like, this is just my assessment. The way I understand his YouTube channel, like, I've seen his front-end masters courses, and he is very precise, very knowledgeable, very good at teaching people. But that's not how he runs his Twitch channel. And yeah, that's kind of my point. Okay. So what do I need to do? I need to, I guess, tweet that I'm live. And then, oh man, I'm gonna be logged out of all my shit. Will I not? Does LinkedIn even work? I guess I should go through my login stuff. Yeah. Cannot open web page localhost. Why? Exception occurred processing request from Python framework. Handle request no block. HTTP error 403 forbidden. What? Oh, this time it worked. It's fine. I'll take it, I guess. Oh, man. Why does software never freaking work as it should? Okay, so I'm gonna be hopeful that I'm still gonna be logged in the other stuff, even though I might not. Simplex, that's my social media client where I paste stuff, and that's it. Returning to my streaming routine. I guess live coding routine, should we call it? And let's add also the YouTube link. Oh, and by the way, I have not been reading YouTube chat up until now. Oh man, this is an Hey Rocker Rager. Hello, hello, hello. Hey Azaf. Hello. So, here's a funny thing. The funny thing is that, so hello to the people on YouTube. Now I can see you. The funny thing is that I worked on integrating YouTube chat to Borg. But it turns out that apparently you're not allowed by either streaming platform to merge the chat streams into a unified one. It's against their terms of service. Now, terms of service are not the law. Even the law is not the laws of physics. So these are all things that you can decide to what degree you want to respect. But it's so annoying. And so, for example, I was originally thinking of having Borg work as a unified chat application for both YouTube and Twitch live streaming of Software You Can Love, the conference. And in the end, I abandoned the idea because I just didn't want to have this stuff going wrong, you know, mid-event. But anyway, let's see. Okay, Twitter worked. Mastodon worked. LinkedIn failed. Dude, god damn it. Fucking LinkedIn. So, CGI deprecated. Awesome. Frozen run code module. Import error. Cannot import name parse QSL from CGI. Oh, I think I've seen this already in the past. Man, I don't know. You should be interviewed by Prime instead of Andrew. I don't know. Maybe I could do it. I don't know. I guess in a sense, my time is how can I say? My time is less precious than Andrew's. So from that perspective, for sure. I don't know how good of a job I would do, but I could certainly try. That's for sure. Yeah, that said, yeah, I don't know. That said, that's it. I don't know. In any case, man, I'm getting back into it. Okay, please give me some time. I don't even remember my freaking keybinds anymore. So here, I do know one thing though. We're gonna have to start by fetching Zig, will we not? Now here's another interesting thing. I want to switch ZIne to using a tagged version of Zig. I want to stick to Zig 0.12, or maybe eventually bump up, but I want to stick to tagged version of Zig for my projects now. I think we're got at a point where it's a good idea to do that switch. Problem is, I have never had to design this in terms of doing that in my system. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I should probably use Zig up maybe. Although I don't know if Zig up allows me to specify the name of my Zig executable. Maybe I should still do it manually. You know what? Okay, I think on one hand, we do want to have a copy of Zig on the system that tracks master. Maybe we should have like Zig dev or something, or like Zig 1 be the version of Zig that tracks master, and instead have normal Zig be 0.12. So, okay, I think that's what I want to do. So that means that we start with Zig up. Actually, do I have it? on my computer by any chance? We don't. Okay. And I guess I might as well just download the release. So Arch64 macOS. Well, I can just move it, I guess. I mean, that would allow me to build Zig and put it in a path. But you know what? I think in terms of like doing that in the future, because my worry is that at some point I'm gonna start having annoying issues like 0.12 wants a version of LLVM, then I have, but instead like had the latest tag wants to use a newer version of LLVM. So I might as well just download a pre-built version. I think it should be fine. So I'm gonna move this guy to, I don't know, user local bin. Do I even have user local bin? I do. Show in Finder. Right click, open. Yes, open for real. Software update. iTerm. Oh god, man. iTerm, you can go to sleep. Okay, now we got Zig up working. So I can do Zig up 0.12.0. This installs it here. That's fine. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure that is fine. But fine. Symbolic link to user local bin Zig. Okay. Okay, that works. Okay, that works because I keep my checkout of Zig inside of documents. That's where I put it originally. Okay, so that works. So let's do this. Let's move. Oh, I'm already in documents. Let's move document Zig to Zig source. Okay. Here we want to git pull. Probably want to remove build and do it from scratch. It's been a while. Oh, come on, give me the command. God damn it, I don't remember. Wiki building Z from source. Do I want to do the brew thing? I think I do want to do the brew thing. Have you not touched your computer at all in the past few weeks? I have, just not this one. No available formula with the name LVM at 18. Did you mean LVM at 8, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, or 9? Wait, seriously? Cannot find remote. Ref heads master. Yeah, but if it's just downloading the pre-built executable, it's fine. It shouldn't take long. What's gonna take longer is update everything else, right? Because Homebrew likes to update everything all at once. Error. Some tabs fail to upgrade. OSX cross AVR. Well, that's fine. Okay. Can we now do this? Exit LVM 18 found 1706. Reinstall LVM at 18. Oh man. Brew. Okay, this seems to be working. Hopefully also let's hope that the brew one is not going to be problematic. Yeah, obviously we need to update image magic. You also need to update ass imp. Man, you wouldn't want your ass imp to be outdated, of course. Wait, why is it updating GCC? Wait a second. What's going on here? I should probably just delete some of this stuff. Like, I have some top level packages that I maybe used at some point that I don't use anymore. And now those are bringing in a bunch of dependencies. And obviously everything, I'm guessing the reason why everything gets updated every single time is because everything has dynamic linking. Is it updating everything that is built with Clang? Oh, no. Well, GCC definitely probably not using Clang. But the reason is that a bunch of things have dynamic dependencies and like have dynamic library dependencies. And when you start updating things, then everything that has shared dependencies, when you update a dependency, you need to update also the things that depend on that common dependency. So that it's very viral. The way you fix this, well, one thing that this thing could do is not do this job, but then every time you update something, then you run something else, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. You might find surprises. An alternative would be to do static linking. If all these things had depended on static libraries, so meaning that the dependency would be bundled in the executable, then different packages would be able to use different versions of the same underlying dependency, just packaged separately. And it would work, but I guess that's not how this stuff works. I don't know. I just feel like that dynamic linking sucks in so many ways. So not a fan. But it seems that now we're successful. Okay, so now we have to build a bunch of Zig. So let's have that happen. And then I guess I'll need to create a symlink for it. I'm gonna call it, I don't know, maybe Zig M, Zig 1, probably Zig 1. Back after conference organizing. Oh yeah, after conference organizing. And not only that, I was also at PyCon a couple weeks ago. I gave a talk on using Zig to package stuff. I think people liked it. It's around here somewhere. So, yeah. I done a bunch of that stuff as well. Oh, I'm hearing my voice now, so I guess my audio is out of sync. Okay. So yeah, I hope to talk more on this subject. I feel like I don't have all the details myself. So for people who have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll give you like a very quick TLDR. Actually, you know what? I'll go make myself some tea and then I'll give you the TLDR. So please bear with me while I hydrate and caffeinate myself. Give me 2-3 minutes and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. What were we saying? I forgot. What were we saying? Oh yeah, the Python stuff, right? So okay, here's the TLDR of so my talk at PyCon was titled "Reinventing the Wheel," and I guess you can read the elevator pitch if you want, but the TLDR is that right now with Python, when you have C or C++ dependencies, which you do very often, especially for like interesting stuff. The most interesting stuff in Python is ultimately like an easy access to a C library that actually does the interesting stuff. And the problem is, though, that, well, now you have a C dependency, you gotta build that shit, and it never works. It never works correctly. So Python has source distributions, source packages. Problem is, you try to install it, tries to build the C stuff, poops itself because you don't have the right compiler, you don't have the right dependencies, something is wrong somewhere at some point for some reason. The portability of C projects, it's kind of shitty in many ways. So what Python does is basically pre-build everything. So you pre-build your C code, like at the CI level before publishing the package. You pre-build a bunch of versions of your package for a bunch of different systems. So ARM, Intel, well, ARM 64, x86 64, Windows, Linux, etc. The problem is, though, that means that for every release of your thing, you have one source distribution and like 10, 15, 20 packages of pre-built binaries, because you obviously need to have a one-to-many relationship, right? And that many is the Cartesian product of a bunch of sets, architectures, OSs, versions also of the OSs, like different versions of the OS are different OSs in a sense, etc., etc. And so what ends up happening is that the Python package index right now is 80 something terabytes big. And of those 80 plus terabytes, 3/4 are binary distributions, are pre-built binaries. And it's growing super fast. So when I wrote this application, when I wrote the talk application for PyCon, the total amount was 66 terabytes. Then, what was it, like 2 months later, when I actually gave my talk, it got to, sorry, this URL is wrong because they wrongly included the closing parentheses. And while right now, where is it? Total growth, 85 terabytes. Right now it's at 85. So it grew 20 terabytes in like 2 months. I mean, you can see this curve, right? You know, that's, what would you call this? Exponential? That's definitely not linear, right? So it's growing a little bit too fucking much. But it's obvious, right? You have so many systems that you have to account for. Now previously was only x86, but now it's also ARM. And as you go forward, you have more different versions of OSs and more in Linux. You have so many Linuxes. By the way, there's also an entire thing about building packages targeting Linux, because you can't just target Linux. It's not that easy. It's more complicated than that. Different distributions won't, like, you cannot make a dynamic executable that works on all Linuxes. Yeah, you have many Linux, which has its own pros and cons. In turn. So long story short, this thing is a mess. And the downside, and at least one serious problem that comes from it, is like this huge growth. So what was I suggesting in my talk? In my talk I was saying, well, what if instead your build process didn't fucking suck and you could actually rely on it? How would you approach creating a package for Python if you actually could trust your C and C++ toolchain to actually always deliver consistently? And the answer is that, well, you could stop doing this thing. Like, you could free some space, first of all, so you could slow down the insane growth of your package index. And by the way, I don't know if this growth is a problem or not for the Python package index. I am not part of the organization. I don't know their financials, but I am part of another open source project, and I know that these costs are real. And there are two options: either you shoulder them, or you have, you know, sponsors help you out. So you have to basically kiss ass. And like, you put this stuff on S3, that means you're gonna have to kiss ass to the AWS guy that gives you free credits. It's annoying to kiss ass. It's so much nicer when you don't have to kiss any ass. Again, as a user, maybe you don't care, but as somebody who works on this stuff, it does make a difference. So that's one thing. But where this thing becomes really interesting is when at some point you stop treating wheels, so the package that contains the pre-built binary, as source, and you start treating it as like a built artifact, something that you can cache but that you don't have to retain, otherwise you lose data. Because today, as I said, you do have source distributions, but it's not trivial to get from the source distribution to the wheels. The people running the project know how to do it, usually, at least to some degree, because they have all this stuff set up in their CI and the specific system, specific virtual machine, specific Docker container, whatever, and it works there. But the moment you try to move this build process somewhere else, it's going to poop itself. So long story short, your pre-built binaries are kind of source. You lose those, you cannot trivially recover them. But if you make your source distribution consistently buildable correctly, trivially, with just one command, right? Zig build. If that works, then at that point, you can say, you know what? We don't get rid completely of pre-built binaries inside of Python wheels, but at this point, we stop treating them as first-class packages, and instead we consider them artifacts that we cache. So instead of saying, oh, this is the size of the package index, you start considering the size of the package index only the source distributions, and then you have a cache where you say, we're going to keep 30 terabytes of memory or space for the most commonly built packages. And so when you fetch a package from the Python package index, if it's a popular package, I don't know, you're getting, or that's one way of doing it. There's also some other tweaks that you can make. But the idea is like, you're getting TensorFlow. Sure, you don't rebuild TensorFlow from scratch because you can fetch the pre-built version from the cache. But if you're fetching something that isn't as popular or as common, then you just build it yourself on the machine, and it works. And so now your financials change the way they work in your package index. Like a bunch of things change, and you can provide people with a user experience that isn't any worse than what it is now. So again, in other words, the point is not to force everybody to build TensorFlow from scratch every time they install it. No, that would be insane. But you can do better. You can do better than the current situation, in my opinion. And in a sense, you could say that, you know how people say, more generally speaking, that Python packaging is a mess. Some of it is Python's fault. They used to rely on system-wide settings a lot, and took a while for Python to start using, you know, virtual VMs, stuff like that. But some of it, it's inherited. It's the situation that they've inherited from C and C++. If that got fixed, then, like, my point, I guess, is that the pre-built stuff is a partial solution to the problem. It's a solution to a problem you shouldn't have in the first place. Fix the toolchain, fix the C++ toolchain, and now you get to redesign what works above it, and you can improve the packaging situation significantly just by embracing advances in the system level programming instead of just, you know, moving stuff under the rug using Docker containers, many Linux, and stuff. That's the idea. Okay, so we got Zig building. So just tune in and you hit us with Docker. Well, you should listen to what I was saying before. I was just complaining about Docker. Don't worry. No Docker on this machine. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I have it installed. I don't remember. But I don't use it much. Okay, so we want to make a symbolic link, I guess. I always forget which goes first. Source file, target file. Okay, so users, Christoph, zig source, build stage 3, bin zig to user, local bin zig1. First time it's slow because we gotta assign the thing, but now I've got zig1 and normal zig. Let's go. Any better alternative on using Docker that is effective? Yes, don't use it. Well, I guess the point is, it depends on what you're using it for, right? Docker serves many purposes all in one. Some of these purposes are more legitimate than others. For example, one funny way of using Docker is to basically treat it as a executable format. It's hilarious. So basically, moving executables around on different systems used to be a problem, and so designers of operative systems came out with solutions. Python, even if you know the file format of exe files on Windows, a .exe file, you know how Linux has ELF, that's the executable format on Linux. On Windows, exe files are portable executable files. Point being, it's an executable that it's portable. You can move it to other Windows machines, and it should kind of work. But then languages like Python came along, and now your program is not an executable anymore. Now it's a script with a bunch of dependencies, and now it's a mess. It's a mess to move around your Python project. So Python or JavaScript or Ruby or a bunch of also other languages. So what do? Well, you gotta come up now with your own way of packaging your application, right? And so Docker container it is. That is a silly way of using containers, in my opinion. I understand why people do it. I understand that it is occasionally practical. Like in practice, it's not like I, as a software developer trying to get things done, am going to wake up one day and like fix Python's packaging problems. But it is hilarious if you think about it, that you spin up a container just because it's the only way you can move around its freaking dependencies without hassle. So that's one way of using Docker that, in my opinion, isn't great. Another one is because you're trying to cross-compile. You're trying to create a build of your program for example, another distribution, another version of Linux, and your normal toolchain doesn't know how to do that. So what do? You spin up a Docker container and you build your stuff in the Docker container. And that is cringe. That is cringe as fuck. And if you think about it, that's what people tell you to do, like in other systems programming languages as well. This is not that uncommon. Also, like in Rust, people do that because Rust, in turn, depends on your system C compiler because it depends on glibc and a bunch of other, like it does have C dependencies. Like not just because you could happen to be using a Rust package that depends on a C library, but also Rust itself more in general wants to depend on the C lib. And so there is a bunch of jankiness involved there as well. Like if you want to build a Rust Lambda for like AWS Lambda, I believe that there's like a bunch of tool chains. One uses Zig, another one tells you to use Docker containers so that you can target the correct version of glibc that Lambda servers use, which might be different than the one that your system is using. So long story short, people use Docker for a bunch of things. Again, Docker ends up being a clever solution to a problem you shouldn't have in the first place. Let's say you want to deploy an e-commerce website on AWS. Would Docker help? If your e-commerce website is, for example, a Django application, it might help. It might help because you might have dependencies on Python packages that depend on like system libraries and whatnot. And all in all, Docker could help you package your Python application. Yes, it could. Here's another way in which Docker is, in my opinion, kind of hilarious. People use Docker also not only to package an executable, but also as a way of creating pseudo processes. Because if you think about it, when you're using Kubernetes and you're running your stuff in pods, and a pod is pretty much like a container, it's like you're creating an abstraction over what is a unit of execution of your program. That's a fucking process. Why can't this thing work on a fucking process? I'm sure there's plenty of reasons, plenty of things that get, I don't know, simplified or streamlined. Well, simplified probably not, but at least streamlined by building these abstractions on containers. But that also is kind of silly if you really think about it. Why do you need a container as a way of wrapping a process? You already have a process in your system. So there's a lot of things that are being done through containers that if you stop for a second to think about exactly what this thing is doing for you, it's just building a redundant abstraction over something that was already there before. And so now to run your e-commerce website that ultimately could probably even run on a freaking Raspberry Pi, now you need like a cluster of 5 machines because everything is so fucking janky. And each component needs to talk to other components with JSON over HTTP, because obviously you cannot imagine a better way of communicating within different processes than that. And at the end of the day, you know what? At the end of the day, it's all well and good. Why? Because the clouds, they don't care about what it is that you do on their machines. All they care about is consumption. Are you consuming their resources and paying, obviously, for those resources? Awesome. Resources are being consumed. We're happy. They don't care if those resources, like 40% of those resources are being wasted on redundant abstractions and stuff. Who cares? And us as an industry, it's not like we hate that either, because, you know, complexity creates more jobs. So now you need more people that are busy troubleshooting your stupid fucking microservices architecture that keeps pooping itself because Kafka is not working correctly. Another beautiful piece of software. It's delightful to manage a Kafka cluster. And all of these powered by templated YAML. That's another nice touch. Not just YAML, but it's like YAML with curly brace templating in it. So it's like macros over YAML. What a better way to write configuration stuff than that. Anyway, done with my rant, sorry. Zig's on libc plus C compiler eliminates the problem that appear in other languages that you see. Absolutely. And this is also another thing that you can do with Zig and Python. Let's go to the PyP index, and guess what? You can get Zig. You can do pip install Zig. And the point of doing pip install Zig, well, Ziglang, I guess, is not that now you get a Zig C compiler on your system, and that is the best way of installing it on your system. Absolutely not. But what it is good for is that now if you have a source package, a Python source package, that during the install process needs to build a C library, because again, the point is we stop shipping pre-built binaries and we start building them on the fly during the installation process on the target machine. Then what you get from this is that you can pull in Ziglang as a Python dependency. So it's like Python allows you to say that something is a install dependency. Can you pip install GCC? Oh god, I hope not. You might. That's not gonna help you much though. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for it to be available, but it's not going to help you as much as it helps you get Ziglang, because Ziglang is going to be able to give you a bunch of stuff that GCC doesn't give you. For example, Python occasionally, to install a Python package, you first need to use the systems package manager to install a bunch of development dependencies like libraries. Like before you can do pip install something, you need to do apt get I don't know, libfoo, libbar, something -dev, that kind of thing. Zig could do that for you, and it could build those libraries for you on the fly. So there's a lot more that Zig can give you than GCC, because Zig is not just a compiler; it's an entire tool chain. You are quite knowledgeable. How does someone reaches your level of understanding? You just spend a bunch of time doing it. I promise you there's a lot of limits to my knowledge, and ultimately it's a matter of what you've had the opportunity to do or not. One thing that can help you is try to avoid getting stuck in a job that teaches you nothing. It's not always that easy. Some of it is up to, well, down to luck, I guess. Like, you don't always have full control, obviously, on your financial situation, on the type of job opportunities available to you where you live. But in general, but for example, I've seen people just get comfortable and start, basically getting progressively less interested in this stuff, and more treating their software development job as, just something that you do during working hours, and then you think about something else afterwards, which is fair. But if your point is that you want to learn more about software development, then you should prioritize finding jobs that teach you stuff. And sometimes that comes also at the cost of job security and or maybe salary. There are probably situations where you can find a more stable job. Like, typical example, you get the opportunity to work for, big boring corp, maybe, a huge consultancy firm, or like one of those companies that maybe are, not quite big tech, but they work on huge boring systems. Like, I don't know, this is the company that builds nationwide, wherever you live, I don't know, like websites for the public administration, or for like public transport systems, or like for, I don't know, energy stuff. Chances are that this stuff is probably going to be boring as fuck, never going to teach you anything. And so maybe you can do it for a while. And you know what? If you've never done it before, you can actually learn from this kind of stuff. But then after a while, you're going to hit a point of diminishing returns. And so, but that said, those places, or like working in a bank, banks are also another example of pretty good job security, usually, I think. But extremely boring, like insanely boring. Instead, if you find other jobs, maybe where, you have lower job security, if you can take on the risk, then you're going to learn more, potentially. Okay. So we got our zigs. Now we need to go to ZIne, I guess. And we have some, okay, I have some uncommitted work. Do I have GD? I do have GD, awesome. Hey, it's right, lol. Thank you for that $3 donated to the Zig Software Foundation. Thank you very much. Let me catch up on the messages on YouTube. Apologies, guys. You know what? I should pull the trigger on and enable the YouTube stuff, YouTube comments in Borg, and just not tell anybody that I've done that. But yeah, let's see. Premagen was talking about wanting to invite Andrew to talk about Zig, but not having any means to contact him. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Yeah. What up, Loris? More Zig. First the Premagen and no Loris, and now Loris is back. Yep. Yep. Not sure it's gonna be, the same. I mean, can't compare the Premagen with a guy that streams to 40 people. But anyway, let's see. Dealing with binary dependencies for Python is also a pain when you try to upgrade the Python interpreter version. Oh yeah, because that can also be something that you have to be, it's part of your ultimate target, like the Python interpreter, including its version. I believe there is a subset of the... let's assume that you're using CPython, okay? So we're just talking about CPython. So no PyPy... is it PyPy? I think it's PyPy, right? Yes. No PyPy, no weird interpreters, or in other VM implementations. But if it's just CPython, I believe there is a subset of the API that is ABI stable. So API versus ABI. So a stable ABI guarantees that you do not need to rebuild your source code when you change the interpreter. But it's only a subset. And I believe that some projects only leverage that interface. So they're good. They don't need to be rebuilt when you make a new versions, when a new version of the interpreter comes out. But some others do rely on other, let's say, non-stable, not as stable, well, maybe API, non-ABI stable functions and definitions, and yeah, those need to be rebuilt. So that's yet another layer of basically combinatorial explosion that the package index has to deal with. So yeah. Any tips on how to implement parallelization in a front-end compiler? I don't have any. I'm sorry. I am a very noobish language implementer. I've only worked on pretty much my static site generator templating language and I guess my JSON replacement, which I also need to get back to and give some love to. Can we like get the... Okay, time to remember how to zoom out. Oh man. Oh god. I don't remember how to zoom out. I don't remember my keybinds anymore. I haven't touched a computer for like a month. And that's the situation that I'm in. I'm sorry. Minimize, zoom. Oh, but what? But wait, I don't get it. Wait, what? I press zoom and it moves the window to the right? What? I don't know. I don't know what's up with Safari. Oh, wait. I think I remembered. Oh yeah, I remembered. Let's go. Could you indicate where is @vector defined in the standard library? I wanted to see the implementation. It is not defined in the standard library. The fact that it starts with an @ means that it's a built-in. Built-in things are not from the standard library. They are from the compiler itself. So the implementation of vector and any related thing is inside the compiler code base, and it's not gonna be, self-contained as you might expect it to be. Like if it was a type in the standard library, it would be like a struct, right? Struct definition with a bunch of methods in it. But since it's in the compiler, it's gonna be more complicated. Also because it deals with like how to lower a vector on a specific target. So my suggestion is find a more specific question and ask it in the Zig Discord. So go to the so-called Zig Cord, the biggest Zig Discord, and ask in Zig Help your question. And maybe as part of that, you can ask if anybody can point you at where the specific functionality, for example, I don't know, where vector, what's it called, shuffling, I don't remember, but in any case where one specific operation is implemented, for example, in the compiler code base. And ideally you can find somebody who is knowledgeable on vectorized operation more in general and have a more nuanced discussion around that. Oh, it was done the operator overloading. Yeah. And that's why it's a built-in. It doesn't do operator overloading. It lowers to a different operation already in the in the compiler's internal representation. So long story short, it's special cased heavily in the compiler source code. Just finished 6 rounds at a company, got rejected because my 4th round of algorithms stuff was mid. It was for the RAS role and they didn't even test me on it. I am sorry, Soap. Is this still fintech stuff? Man, I really wish I could put YouTube chat. You know what? I'm soon gonna work on putting YouTube chat in Borg, so that YouTube people can be, you know, first-class citizens. Okay, so we were looking at changes here. Oh, like I removed daytime. Oh, wait a second. I never committed. Wait. So I removed daytime. But I then depend on ZIne, right? So this is not part of my diff? Huh. Yeah, it was fintech stuff. Pension fund company. Can barely get interviews outside of fintech, so I'm stuck at the moment. Interesting. I have a friend who works for an energy company, like something that is not quite fintech, but it's, I guess, in some ways adjacent. Is energy, like electricity. There's a bunch of new companies around that. I have a friend actually who works for a UK energy company, now that I think about it. Question here. If I want to contribute Zig snippets, where is the best place to do that? Do we have something centralized, or what's the most popular avenue to do that? You want to contribute Zig snippets. So if your snippet has a good amount of explanation around it, meaning you want to show how to do something and you don't intend to just show the code, but also you want to comment on it, my recommended platform would be your personal blog. Have your own personal blog, post stuff on your personal blog, own your content, and share a link to your personal blog in any of the Z communities. So for example, there's, I guess you could put something like this in, by the way, I think, where people post content in general. Another way you could do it is, if you're lazy, you could go to zig.news and basically do the same. So zig.news, oh god, got spam that I need to delete. These motherfuckers keep spamming. But in any case, people post, you know, stuff. But the idea is still a blog post. It's not just a snippet. If you just have a pure snippet of code that you want to show people, we don't really have anything centralized. There were some websites of that kind, but I think they never really took off. And I don't know if they're still used today. Let me see. I think we ended up never even linking them from here. There's code examples on the official website. But this is not used much, and it's, I would say, don't assume, like, it's complicated. Right now, this stuff is, I would say it's kind of frozen, because we would need to decide more clearly what it is that we want to have on there or not. Well, Zigbin is mostly for sharing. Sorry, sharing as in not publishing, like not contributing, right? I'm assuming that contribute a Zig snippet means I want to share a Zig snippet in a way that people can discover and discuss. So Zigbee can be useful to paste a Zig snippet, but that's just one. It's kind of like, I don't know, a gist in a sense. So you put it in a gist, that's fine. Oh, Zig cookbook. Yeah. Let's see. Wait, this one? No, I don't think it's this one. It's called Zig cookbook, but that's not what I was thinking. Is this it? Seems so. There used to be others. Okay. Although, doesn't this look like more like a book? Well, it's a cookbook. Okay, so right. But by definition, since it's a cookbook, it's a collection of like quote unquote recipes. So that's fair. I guess that's one place. There were some others. I forget their name though. But I guess that's kind of the point. They never really took off. Another thing that you can do is slap those on a gist and start a discussion in Discord, and you link it to your gist. That also works. It depends on how lazy you want to be about it. Honestly, I would say do your blog. Like, take this as an opportunity to set up your blog, and yeah, start blogging. It's good. Writing a blog, it's good. It's good practice. It teaches you good things that are absolutely good to know, and go do it. Oh, Zig by example. Yeah. Like, okay, this is interesting. I had not seen this one. Very Go style. That's fine. There were still at least a couple more. I just don't remember them. Zig samples. This is the one we were looking at a moment ago. Deprecated. This is the one by Ellie. Yeah, this is the one by Ellie. Yeah, he abandoned it. Okay, that's the one that I was thinking of. Yeah, so we don't have that many centralized places. The things that we do have centralized tend to be more geared towards, I guess you could say prose, more than just a code snippet. But in any case, I really would recommend to prioritize as much as you can owning your own content. It's just a good idea. And even if you know, post a little bit, and then you never do that, maybe worth adding a section on wiki. No, I can tell you, in practice, no, because then, first of all, the GitHub wiki has very low discoverability. And second, moderating the GitHub wiki is annoying because GitHub doesn't make it particularly nice or easy on you. People can edit shit in a bunch of ways. And ultimately, the wiki is more for things that are not much up to discussion. Like, you want to build Zig from source, fine. That's kind of what you have to do. These are the steps. Is this the only possible way on the planet to build Zig from source? No. But like, there's not much discussion around this. If instead you talk about code snippets provided by somebody where they argue in favor of one way of doing things, that's not necessarily going to be the correct way of doing things. So we shouldn't intermingle things that are somebody's opinion with more authoritative content. That's kind of the problem. And also because all this stuff needs to be like curated. Like, the more code you put in places, the more easily it bit rots, right? It becomes obsolete as Zig changes. So, for example, the Zig website has CI test the code every single time there's a new deployment, and it fails the deployment if some code snippet stops working. So there's that. And so you kind of have to be careful with the amount of code you want to take on and maintain through this process. So long story short, I think that while I understand the feeling of wanting to find a somewhat official looking place where to put your code, I would instead highly recommend to own your own code, share it with the community while keeping control over it, and like curating your own little garden. Of all the software communities out there, you will find that the Z community is one of the most open to this kind of stuff. That doesn't mean that you will necessarily immediately get an infinite amount of attention, but if you are diligent and you explain your stuff, and your stuff is like relevant enough, like you're showing people non-trivial snippets of code, non-trivial but also not too niche, right? It has to be something that people could make use of. Like if you're showing, I don't know, assembly for a old I don't know, Commodore microcontroller, some people will care, most people won't. And I'm sure you can get even way more niche than that. Will you handle the Primagen with Zig questions? Does he have actual Zig questions though? Does he really have Zig questions? If he actually has Zig questions, then sure, that is something that would be totally worth helping him with. I don't know if my codes are in line with best practice. I just know they work. Yeah, well, to your point, it's not even like, you know, oh, we know precisely what is the best code and you don't, and we judge you. It's not even that easy, because the point is that I would even say that we ourselves don't even know precisely, and things are getting discovered as we work on stuff. So for example, this is certainly 100% sure for me, but even Andrew, like if you follow the way he codes stuff, which again, I understand if most people don't do that, but like I've been reading some of his comments, and you know, whenever like a new feature gets added to Zig, I snoop around a little bit. And for example, his own style of writing Zig has changed, right? And Andrew is an interesting example as the creator of the language, as a very proficient and prolific software developer. But even then, you know, his style isn't necessarily the ultimate style. It's like, it's one of those situations where, you know, you create a chess playing AI, but even if you created the thing, it doesn't mean that you will best the thing forever. At some point, if you did a good job at creating it, the thing will best you at some point. And similarly, I would expect Andrew ideally to always be, you know, in the top percentile of people in terms of skill writing Zig, but he is not necessarily going to make the best choice every single time. So long story short, the process of finding what is good advice, it's nuanced, and it takes time for people to discover what are good practices, what they think are good practices, right? Because sometimes you also think that something is a good practice, and then over time you change your mind. For example, one thing that people changed their mind, everybody, including Andrew, was how to name allocators. I think originally we all gave, for example, a specific name to the concrete implementation of an allocator. So we would do like var GPA equals general purpose allocator, blah, 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 dot init. And then we would call alloc the allocator interface. But more recently, you will find that in the Zig compiler code base, in code that Andrew writes, in code that I write and other people write, we kind of shifted away from that to giving to calling allocators GPA, the allocator interfaces, GPA and Arena, because even though those are allocator interfaces, they kind of want to suggest you how to use them, because the idea is that you sometimes want to pass two allocators to a function, because one is kind of like the scratch pad for temporary stuff, and the other one is for the stuff that needs to live longer, the GPA usually. So Prime is building his tower defense game in Zig. You could also start a community on GitHub and hope people participate over time. That is another good piece of advice. You could do that, although, you know, manage your own expectations. I would say if you're interested in something like this happening, like having a community of people who participate and do stuff around you, my most strongly felt, most heartfelt piece of advice is always start from the perspective of you're doing this for yourself and you want to do it, and you feel like you can keep doing it even if never anybody ever contributes to your thing. And then maybe you can get pleasantly surprised when some people want to come along with your journey. If you start from the beginning your journey under the hope, under the expectation that sooner than later somebody else will tag along and will start making the thing funny and, you know, fulfilling for you to do, you are pretty much guaranteed to get disappointed and burned out, because it usually, pretty much always, takes way more effort, way much longer time than what you initially assume it will take for things to get off the ground. So do it for yourself. Like I'm making my own static site generator. I'm making it for myself first. Some people are starting to use it. Great. Ideally, one day they will start contributing more, more directly to the project. But it's like, this is for me. Otherwise, you're guaranteed to get burned out by your effort. Like, oh, I'm making this. Well, for example, that's pretty much what happened to the, Zig code snippet projects that we saw. The ones that ended up being deprecated, they were started by people who in the end were hoping that others would participate, but then it didn't really happen, and so they abandoned the project. That's kind of how things ended up shaping in the end. Okay, so what I wanted to do was to go to the ZIne website and take a look at the PRs, because I have PRs. Okay, so April 28th and 2 weeks ago. So this updates a bunch of packages, including flow syntax, 3-seater as well, okay. Changes a few things. Doesn't work with latest Zig. Try digging. Awesome. Let's see. Oh, this person added a bunch of forks to things. Huh. Okay, one step at a time. I would say let's start by merging this one and see where that lands us in terms of building with 0.12. Our goal is to build with 0.12. Maybe I should make a branch for 0.13, but I don't even think that's much of a priority, honestly. Also, I should probably sign in, huh? Authentication code. Pesky can be used for okay, ask me later. Okay, let's see where this lands us. So I guess we can git pull auto stash. Oh shit, I mean git butler / integration. Oh, god damn it. Right, because I tried to use this fucking thing just to see how it worked, and of course it had to fucking mess up my git thing. Okay, git butler, you can go to hell, I'm sorry. That's a lot of these that are worrisome. Okay. Git pull auto stash. Let's try to do git build server from the website, right? That's kind of what we want to do. So new tab. Perfect. Cache zig blah 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 cmark lib install config header 0.12 node function declare here. What are we fetching from the cache? I don't know what this project is. It does say cmark lib, so maybe it's my cmark dependency, although did this not get updated? Okay, so we're looking at the cmark stuff, and actually now that I think about it, so here we're changing mime. Oh, this is still Andrew's mime? Oh, I guess he kept that one. I think at some point I forked it. WebSocket. And see there. Okay, so these never changed the other dependencies. So long story short, that's what happened. So we need to update our cmark stuff as well. Where does our cmark stuff come from? GFM. Oh, guess what? It's mine. Come on. Wait. Dude, come on. Oh, cmark. Will you find it now? No results found. It's like the third result. God damn it, dude. And I do have PRs here as well. Okay, so we merge this one. See this latest one. So commits. We copy the commit ID. Oh, that's not it. It's this one. place. Here we delete, I guess, the hash. Okay. Here's the expected hash. Actually, you didn't need to close it. Oh well. Do I get out in end? Oh, nice. I get out in end. Okay, so let's see if we're getting closer. Okay, I'm getting the meme error. So okay, I guess the other PR was addressing some of this stuff. Although this is for 0.13, so I don't want to do that. So the problem here, did I not have my own fork of that? I never forked it. Okay, that probably explains why. But we did update Andrew's. Release 201 last month. Okay, let's see, what do we get? Yeah, it's a different version. Oh, you know what might have happened also? Did people update the hash and not just the other thing? Okay, what's the new failure? I want what's it called prominent compile errors. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Root start file std has no member. Blah 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 blah. Oh, god damn it! Did I paste the right hash? So it is the latest commit. So I'm guessing Andrew's project isn't super up to date with Zig. Is that it? (9C7A4). So yeah, I did paste the right hash. So we're using the right project, the latest version of it. It doesn't have any open pull request. So this is pretty much it. So I guess we're forking. I guess we're forking. And hey, two-step. Static string map is in 0.12. Oh. So the problem is we went too far into the future. You see, thank you. You know what? At some point, I suspected that might have been the problem. Just didn't think about it too hard. So you're saying I should go for... look at this. Minimum Zig version. Thank you, Andrew. That actually does help. Update for Zig 0.13. Oh, yeah. Look at this. I guess we want this one. I don't know. Hopefully this one is gonna be good enough. That dot wasn't. Yeah. Thank you. How do you select a line? I forget. Oh, like this. Okay. I have my muscular memory, but if you ask me which button I press, I'm not even that sure anymore. Okay. And so now our next problem is in our code. Why are we getting this though? Static string map with equal. Then the PR that we got, wasn't it targeting 0.12? I guess the PR that we merged was targeting something past 0.12. Because this one is for 0.13, so I'm waiting on it. Well, this says latest zig. It did never mention, yeah, 0.12. So well, I guess we need to rename it back. I guess I'll mention to the person in the PR that I'm purposely stopping at 0.12. Although 0.13 is coming soon, but let's start the process of sticking to a specific version of Zig. Oh, it's not in here. Oh, if the fragments found too. Oh no. You know what? Here's what we can do. We can look at this PR and kind of revert some of it, basically. Okay, void tags was the second argument. Okay. Let's tell the PR author just so that they know. Instead of going past, you should have zig build update hashes. Well, there's zig fetch. I was not using it, but if you use the zig fetch command, it will update your entries in your zone file. Okay, so I'll also say it here. Hey, so it's going well. I'm getting back to the streaming routine. Okay, and getting my projects back building with Zig. Okay, so we got this up and running now. I guess the next question is, what else did we change in this version? So we deleted daytime, which I think was just like cleanup because we're not depending on it anymore. Now the question is, what's in here that changed? Zine content.zig and docgen, and I think I was some non-trivial changes in progress. So let's do gdiff content.zig. Yeah, ensure dear. Yeah, this was like a bug fix of some kind. I think there was more work that I wanted to do on this stuff. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna commit this. I'm just gonna commit the of course, GS is this ghost script thing. I'm just gonna commit the change to my builds file and to cedar.zig. I guess this well, and daytime. So git add build.zig.zone daytime and super. Yeah, and I'm gonna leave these changes for another time. Although, I mean, these changes were in as we tested this and it worked, but I'll wait. Okay, so ZIne is, it works now with 0.12. There's a lot more to do still. I should probably announce on the website that I'm sticking to tagged versions of Zig now. More of this stuff to do, but for now, for today, you know, it's a start. What I think I'm gonna do is probably close the stream soon. I want to take it easy. First time streaming in a while, not used anymore to stay on stream for a long time. And right now, I don't have the brain power to get too deeply into ZIne. So let's get it working for now, and then we can move on. We can do more tomorrow. So yeah. Yeah, it's time to get back to it. Finally. So thank you all for hanging out. And I don't know. Let's rate a channel. Quick filters. Following. Similar or smaller size. Same category. I don't know. There's... The Prime engine is live. You know what? Is this the tower defense in Zig stuff? It is. He's writing Zig. Well, let's rate him.